watching Minute Law with me, Maria Spear Ollis of Spear IP. Trademark strength is not something that designates some kind of coolness factor. It measures a trademark's protectability. There's something called distinctiveness, which it's kind of the ability of a trademark to be identified as a source identifier rather than just a description. In other words, you see the trademark, and a distinctive trademark will tell you right away that it is a trademark designating it as a certain brand's product or services. Now, there's a spectrum of trademark strength that comes into play when you might be choosing your brand name. It also comes into play when you're determining how strong a trademark is. And at the bottom of the barrel, you've got generic trademarks. They're not actually trademarks at all. They're more pure descriptions of what they are. Coffee in connection with coffee. That's a generic word for coffee. Genericide is something that happens when a trademark becomes generic. Band-Aid, Kleenex, Thermos. These are all terms that people use whether or not they're referring to those specific brands. Next, there are descriptive trademarks, and those are marks that describe a characteristic or an other element of the product or service that's offered under that trademark. Descriptive trademarks can acquire that distinctiveness over time. So think of brands like Bed Bath & Beyond or Sports Authority. These are pretty descriptive trademarks if you look at them, but they've been used for so long that everyone knows Bed Bath & Beyond, everyone knows Sports Authority. Suggestive trademarks are kind of one step above descriptive trademarks. And one suggestive trademark might be Lyft, L-Y-F-T. You don't automatically know that just from reading the word Lyft that it's a rideshare service, but it kind of suggests, taking a Lyft might suggest the nature of the goods and services rather than flat out describe them. Next are arbitrary trademarks, and that's second to best in terms of strength. Think of a normal existing word that is arbitrarily paired with an unrelated product or service. First thing that comes to mind is apple, right? Apple is a fruit, but in connection with computers or smartphones or any of other Apple's products, it's an arbitrary pairing. Butter in connection with nail polish is another. And finally, there are fanciful trademarks. And a fanciful trademark is a completely made-up term used in connection with a product or service. Spotify is always my go-to example. It doesn't mean anything, but it is a unique, creative, made-up word used in connection with a music streaming service. And so that makes it a pretty strong trademark. So I hope that helps you learn a little bit about the spectrum of trademark strengths and kind of why it's important. And I'll see you next time.